Oop. And began. Chapter 6, Revelations. We have just left the club, or not just left the club, but the bartender put Ed's finger on her little fingerprint fingerprint scanner that she has tied around her neck, and she says, "It's registered under the name Lunis." So he steps back. He's like, "Oh, interesting. Well, thank you. I appreciate it." And the bartender's like, "Yeah, just let me know if you want anything else." And then he continues to sip on his drink and then kind of leans up against the bar, looking at you guys. What are we doing?
No more Ed now?
I mean, I guess my name is Lunis.
Well, it's nice to properly meet you, Lunis.
The same goes to you all.
Did that jog anything else back, or just felt like information?
Can't say that it did. It's weird being here. It's like, I feel like I've done this all before.
Like with us, you mean?
Just being here. Maybe not so much you guys.
I mean, you probably went to a bar a lot. This does seem like a place you would frequent.
I was gonna say, haven't you been here before? You live close by. I would think that, like Quinn said, you would frequent this place.
It was like, I knew this place existed, I knew where it was, but I couldn't remember what it looked like until we actually got here. Who knows, I could have gone here a lot, or maybe I've only been here one time.
Well, maybe a nice stroll around the city would jog more of your memory?
I think let's just chill for the evening. We can figure out all this stuff going on tomorrow. Besides, these drinks are already starting to hit.
Yeah, and I think we've all actually had a pretty weird and long day.
Yeah, I'll say.
We've been up to close to 24 hours, so...
Sounds like you guys need to sleep then.
That sounds like a good idea to me.
Hitting the hay would be quite nice, but since this is your culture, we will participate how you see fit.
See, I knew you guys would be good. Hold on. I'm use the restroom really quick. These drinks are hitting me quick. I'll be right back.
Sure.
And he finishes off his drink, and then you see him go off like down a back passageway towards where the restrooms are.
Well, it's nice not to call him Ed anymore, I guess.
I thought Ed kind of stuck.
It grew on me too, but I think he would prefer if we called him by his actual name, Lunis.
Yeah.
Lunis.
Well, Lunis the mysterious man from the past. And this is the past. It's so not pasty.
It's not what would come to mind. I actually feel quite... What's the turn of phase? Out of my skin here? No, that's not right.
Out of your element?
Out of my element, yeah.
Yeah, me too. But I have to admit, the drink is pretty good.
Yes, I will say, but it's good. It's like eating a fruit, like a mango. Didn't expect it to be so sweet, compared to mead.
I don't really...
is very earthy.
Yeah, and I really don't care for the alcohol. I mean, I've only taken a couple sips of it, but it is, I mean, as far as drinks go, I guess it's better than communion wine.
Yeah, I slay. Definitely better than communion wine.
You've had communion wine, Quinn?
I might have once, twice. That's not
Really?
here or there.
Were you part of the church?
No. No. No.
Not even as a child.
No.
Why would you drink communion wine if you weren't part of the church? It seems kind of blasphemous.
My father had me drink it, that's all.
Okay.
She takes another long sip. Actually, she probably just finishes her drink in one shot. Like, yep.
So your father was a religious man.
That he was, but that's enough about my past.
Alright, well, fair enough, I guess.
I mean, we're stuck here until who knows when, and we're the only people from our time here. Might as well get to know one another.
Weren't you guys the ones that wanted to leave us?
Yes. I still
Yeah.
sort of think we should, but
No, that's the only way we're gonna get out of here is we working from people with our time
I mean
to
after.
get back.
I mean back at home.
It does seem like our paths will diverge once we get back home. I mean, we're only going to split because we were punished.
Yeah, it really wasn't personal. I can't lose my pilgrimage, and I already have.
Is that bad?
It means everything I've worked for my entire life is to go to waste.
Well, that is unfortunate.
And if she's not a summoner anymore, I might as well be forced to the front lines of the Crusaders.
Yeah, we'll probably be split up, and I wouldn't even know what to do. I wouldn't be able to accomplish anything I've been trying to figure out.
And what exactly are you trying to figure out? I know what a summoner basically does.
Well, as a summoner, I'm trying to stop the darkness. And that means going to all of the Union temples and connecting with the Phaons there and taking this great pilgrimage that I had to study for 23 years in order to even begin that pilgrimage. But not only that, I'm looking for somebody. And if I'm not a summoner, then I'm not going to be able to go to these temples and go on this pilgrimage. And because of that stupid artifact, I already lost my pilgrimage, and now I have to go to a trial a month from now, and I have to see 3 temples before the trial, and then I still don't even know if they're going to reinstate my role as a summoner. And if I keep spending time around you guys and interacting with all this weave stuff, I'm gonna get kicked out of the church.
But hasn't there been a summoner before you that tried to get rid of the darkness, and yet the darkness came back? How
Well,
is
a lot
that
of-
helping?
Well, a lot of summoners have tried. None have succeeded yet, but either way, it's a summoner's path to try, and my entire life has been devoted to connecting with Yuna and channeling her divine magic and using it for the good of Everas. And I'm not willing to give that up. And I'm certainly not willing to do something reckless and have it ripped out of my hands after all this time.
Quinn doesn't know how to really take that in too much. She's going to be like kind of filling with her empty glass now, like mulling that over.
It's like if, you with your Magi order, suddenly you were ripped from that connection with them. They tossed you out on the streets.
But
No
they
books.
wouldn't do that.
I'm just saying it as an example. Because you conversed with us, people of the Union religion, they would do that to you. I'm not saying that's what happens.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it as an example, maybe for you to think through it.
It'd be like if they took all your powers and your connection to the Weave away, and your connection to the Magi Order and the Guardian, if all of that was taken from you as discipline for interacting with us, like Valda said.
It seems very harsh for even union, like, standards, you know? Like, would Yuna act like that at all, you believe?
They have their reasons. It keeps peace.
But does it? Look how
I
they treat
believe
the
so.
Magi.
They don't treat the Magi poorly. I don't know, it's...
I mean, what did they do to those Magi on that ship?
They had to have done something to deserve to be there. The one attacked me.
I think he was also very angry.
I don't know. All I know is that, you know, we're of the Union Church. We're not bad to you. I mean, there's Magi on Meiku Island. There are Magi everywhere, and I don't know. It's complicated, but I believe that the church has their reasons, and I trust them.
It's not for us to know all of those reasons either.
Not yet, but if I could become a summoner...
This feels strange that they wouldn't share the reasons why you follow something, kind of following blindly. And if that was me, I wouldn't find out every single thing I could before I did anything for them. Like, read all the books and ask professors. You know, I guess that's what I do in my craft, is just go out and search for the reasons of the unknown.
I mean, I guess we have. Don't get me wrong. I mean, we've been in education for the Union Church our entire life. I mean, since early childhood, and we've certainly read the scriptures and have, I mean, we don't have professors necessarily, but the priests and the priestesses, and I mean, we know a lot about the religion, but there are some things that you have to have faith in. You know, I mean, it isn't like the Weave where you have to see it to believe it. There are some things you have to just trust. That's why it's faith.
I mean, I'm not like Ruika here. I can't actually see the weave. And maybe one day we could feel the weave, but I just know it's there and it came from the Elder Tree.
When you go to like reference Ruika and you kind of like glance her way, you notice that she like has set her drink down and she actually walked off and she's like looking around. She's like enamored.
Gwen's gonna like note this and like just like kind of like turn a little bit so she keeps an eye on Ruika the entire time while having this conversation now.
She's just kind of like ambling around, kind of like you can tell she looks like she's never seen something like this before. Anyway, continue.
Okay. Quinn's gonna also like nod to Ruika and be like, and she is very intriguing. Using the leap to see. I can't imagine what she like is seeing right now, and I just wish I could just trade my brain with her.
Why didn't you guys tell us she was blind?
I just kind of assumed you would know. I don't know. I didn't think about it. I sometimes forget what other people kind of think and see. I don't know. I get to a heading and that's where I go and I hyper focus on that. Like that artifact.
Why is this artifact and all this weave stuff so important to you? I mean, it makes sense to me for somebody to want to be close to Yuna and the divine magic because she's our goddess, but I mean, where is this drive coming from? Why do you care so much? What's the point of looking for these artifacts and going on this quest?
Our history. The history that was lost to time, basically. I mean, that artifact we didn't really know existed or even what it does. Like, what could it do? Like, what from Eden? Like, obviously Eden looks amazing. Like, what could it bring to the future? Like, it's always for the future. Could it defeat the darkness? Could it, I don't know, save lives? Is it medicine? Is it something greater than what Yuna could do?
I
mean,
doubt that.
what if they could make somebody live forever? It's just speculations of things that were lost to the history, basically, because of the wars. I want to make sure Everas's history of all magic is preserved.
But
Well,
why? Go ahead, Velda.
If it's preservation of all magic, that is a noble quest.
It is, but I'm just wondering, I mean, why you? Like, sure, as a field of study, I can understand the importance, but why are you studying it?
Oh,
Why do you care? How did you end up working with the Guardian?
well, I met him as a child, actually. I saw the way he used magic, and I wanted to be exactly like him when I grew up. He's kind of, I guess you could say, my idol.
So you already had these magic talents.
As a child, yes. My mother trained me.
So what are you? I mean, obviously I'm a summoner, Velda's a crusader. What's your title?
I am just Quinn of the Magi Order. Nothing fancy. I went to school at Wakefield. I'm a half-elf, and I lived right outside of Holyrood. I'm really a nobody. I just liked to study and studied very hard and got to where I was.
I have a feeling the Magi doesn't work quite like the Union Temple, where there's ladders to climb. There's nothing to differentiate, like, the different people and what they do.
I mean, we have, like, people who are ahead of different types of magic in the Magi Order, if that's what you're asking, but I basically just study my own curiosities and whatever Aethern has me go off and do as of this quest. Sometimes I deliver prophecies that are given, but that's his, a little side job that he has me do sometimes, but other than that, it's just, I get to research and discover more about the world, and it's find out other ways to defeat the darkness other than, Yuna.
Well,
If you're trying to defeat the darkness and we're trying to defeat the darkness, seems a little convoluted that we're fighting.
we're not fighting.
We aren't
I'm
fighting,
not
but the Church and Magic Order technically are. Don't get
Yeah,
me
exactly.
wrong.
Exactly what I mean. But there's differences, but a lot of people can't see between the differences. It's just how some people are. Like how some people are half elf or elves and humans, and they're different. And some people can't get past that.
I mean, I'm a half-elf. I got past that pretty quickly.
Oh, yes. No, I'm not saying you. I'm just generalization. That's all.
I see.
So what about Ruika? I mean, is she part of the Magi Order? How did you end up being her companion? I mean, I don't really understand.
Oh, she was, at first, she was also an assignment. And then I went to set assignment, and then saw that she's blind and could see with a weave, and over time we became friendlier, and I asked her to come on adventures with me, because the way she could see the weave, basically. It's been very helpful.
Fair enough.
Wait. Where's Lunis?
I think he just went to the bathroom.
He should be back by now.
You guys have already gone through at least 2 more rounds of drinks at this time. Lunis has been gone for a very long time.
You're right.
Wait. Let's go check to make sure he's okay.
Wanna check the restroom?
Well, I can knock.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we should.
I mean, I can go in, no problem. And she just starts getting up, and she goes to Ruika and like, hey, Lunis is missing. You gotta go.
she kind of like startles a little bit, just because she was like so like not zoned out, but just like not paying attention to you. She's like, how long has it been?
No, I actually lost track of time.
Me too. I'm actually starting to get a bit of a headache. It's all kind of overwhelming.
Okay. Well, hang in there a little longer. I'm not sure how to help exactly at the moment, because we're kind of stuck here. But maybe Lunis has an idea of how to help. Or Magi here.
Let's find him and see if we can go back to his place. I'd really like a nap.
As soon as Valda stands up from her stool, she like grabs the counter and she's like, "Woof! I didn't realize the drinks were like this here."
How much
And her
did
head
you
kind of
have?
spins a little, and she turns and looks at Finley. She's like, "Come on, let's go."
Are you okay?
They're just very strong.
I mean, I only had the one, and I didn't even finish it, but... Okay, just, don't fall. Let's go find, Lunis.
I'm fine.
Okay.
All right, so you go back down a hallway to where the restrooms are, and there are two sets of doors for the restrooms, both unmarked, whether it's male or female or anything in between. It's just marked restrooms on both of the doors in the back hallway. What do you do?
Valda goes in front of one and she bangs on a door. Lunis?
So you pound on the door, and a woman, she comes out of the restroom. She's like, "Whoa, calm down. I'm done. Chill."
I'm sorry, ma'am. I was looking for our friend. I apologize.
Oh, well, there's no other friend in there. It's just a single stall restroom. Your friend's not in there. I'm sorry.
Oh, we didn't see him come back our way. Is there any other exits back here?
Yeah, there's like the back door that some people use sometimes. When I was waiting in line for like 15 minutes, I did see a group of people take somebody back out there. What does your friend look like?
Well, he's tall, kind of skinny. I think he has dark brown hair. I don't remember.
So like every other basic white guy here.
Yeah.
Okay, well, the people that he was with, it did kind of look like him.
Okay, well, thank you very much, ma'am.
You're welcome. I gotta go vomit again. Holy crap. And
Oh, well.
she goes and runs back into the bathroom.
I wish you well, ma'am. And she like shuts the door awkwardly and she looks back. Someone took him. Let's go.
Are you sure he's not in the other bathroom?
Fine, let me pound on that one too. And she pounds on it. Lunis!
Okay, we can't hear you.
No one answers through the door on the other side.
She jiggles the handle.
It's locked.
Lunis! And she pounds it again.
The girl from earlier, she comes back out of the restroom. She goes, "Oh, hon, you poor thing. That bathroom's been locked for years. They always say it's under construction, but no one can ever go in."
Thank you again, ma'am. I wish you well. And she like nods to the group to go towards the back exit.
Priam, catch you later.
You too, catch you. Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
the four of you guys go out back.
Yeah, Finley will go towards the back door.
As you go through the door or what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you go through the door and you're in like a back alley. It's a little dodgy a little bit. You can hear the thumping bass from the club through the walls, and it's just kind of this dodgy little back alley. But down at the end of the alley, you see what looks to be a large rectangular vehicle, and you see people jumping into it and sliding something shut like a door, and the vehicle rips off out of the alleyway and disappears into the night.
Oh God.
Do you think Lunis was in there?
I don't know.
Well, I don't think we're gonna be able to follow it.
Well, come on, we can try. And Valda tries to take off.
Finley's not gonna run after her. Valda, you're not as fast as that thing.
I could try. And she takes off just to see if she can like round the corner if she sees him.
What does everybody else do?
Ruika, are you able to track them?
I can give it a try, but I mean, everything here lights up like crazy, but I can try. How was she close enough to the van, like, before it took off to even be able to get a sense of like the energy of the people in there, or no? Can't hear you.
Ruika tries to get a sense of the truck, but it just is like blinding almost with just how much commotion and people and energy that's just moving throughout the city that it's hard to even pick up what anything could have been. You do feel the presence though of Lunis disappearing.
Okay. It's really too hard to say. Like I said, everything is too much, but I can tell that he's getting further away.
Do you
I
know
think
at
he
least the
was in
heading?
there.
Well, I guess we know the heading. Well, should we try to chase after the thing? The box that moves? Or do you think he has any friends around that would know who would want to capture him?
At this time, Valda is down at the end of the alleyway, and you just see this street filled with these mechanical wagons, basically cars, that are all just going throughout the city. It's traffic, and everything that you've ever seen and overwhelmed. It just the sheer capacity of the city just kind of like takes you over, and as you like head back down the alley, you hear a clicking sound, like two distinct clicks, and you hear it almost in the back of your head. It's a strange sound. You've never heard it before. And then as you look down the alley, you see that there are 5 figures, all in these dark masks that don't have any facial descriptions, are holding these strange mechanical machines aimed at your friends.
Valda quickly tries to run back to the group. Like, is it me, group, people?
So the 3 of them are at the end of the alley, and then you're at the other side of the alley, so you can see each other. You see 5 people behind them, all with these contraptions, these machines aiming at them, and then you hear clicking at the back of your head. And you said you start running?
Yeah, Valda's gonna start running towards the group. Look behind you!
Finley will turn around.
Finley and Quinn, you can see that there is also someone behind Valda, who is also holding this contraption behind her. And as Valda starts running, you hear a deafening bang and a flash of light go off behind Valda. It's the sound of like a firework, a firecracker. It's the sound of a gun being shot at the back of Valda's head because she ran.
Quinn's gonna.
And then everything goes light. Hey, wake up. It's okay. You hear a voice. As your eyes open, you see Ceryn is over top of you. As you see the crystal and magic shop around. And you feel pillows and blankets all underneath of you in these mats as you're all lined up in the shop, as he starts tending to you guys waking up. It's okay, breathe. There you are. You all made it.
Valda?
Yes,
Is Valda okay?
everyone's there.
Okay. And she wakes up?
Yep.
Oh, that was very scary.
Oh, you don't remember anything. The last thing you remember is being on the ship and Tamel creating that portal.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, thank
Well-
God for Tamel.
How did we get here again? That we all made it to that portal?
Yeah.
Trey, you're muted.
And you probably have portal sickness right now. You all were able to go through the portal. And unfortunately, Tamel has yet to make it back.
He might not have had enough magic.
Portals can only take so many people.
Mm,
I really don't think he did make it back, unfortunately. They were trapped on a ship headed to something called the Pit, and the Pit was a whirlpool at the bottom of the sea.
That's why he wasn't able to communicate back. I saw him open up the portal here. That's the only reason why I knew it was him. I could see to the other side, and you guys were on that ship. You said he was taken aboard that, and they were sending him to a place called the Pit?
Mm-hmm.
Here, I have this. Drink it. It'll make you feel better. You won't feel as nauseous. And he each hands you a small little mug full of a sweet-smelling liquid.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You guys have been asleep for 3 days.
Wow.
Actually, it does kind of feel that way.
When I'm assuming this is the first time you have really portaled.
Oh, yeah.
Ever?
I've never done anything like that before.
Not many people can do that, and the first time you do it, it can really hurt you. But you guys should be better in no time.
Thanks.
So, we're back on Meku Island?
Yeah.
And Balda just looks over at Finley.
So we don't remember anything from Eden. So we still don't know Ruika's blind.
Mm-mm.
Oh no.
Alarm backtracking. Okay. She'll just kind of nod at Valda and start to get up. We should go.
Where are you going?
We have temples to visit.
It's the
Yes.
middle of the night. You need to rest.
I'm sure that someone is up and we can book a voyage for first thing in the morning. We have to go to the mainland.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I'm not going to hold you hostage here, but there's room for you all to stay here, and I can make breakfast in the morning and sort the affairs of this shop now that Tamel's gone.
She'll give Quinn and Ruika sort of a skeptical look. I don't know if we should stay.
Okay.
I wouldn't mind staying. I
Of
don't
course
feel
we'll stay.
great, and it's the middle of the night, and maybe we've been asleep for 3 days, but I sure don't feel like I've been asleep for 3 days.
Right, and we do need to figure out how to help you with this shop, because with all these magical items here, we can't let them, be sacked by the Magi and Church. And she kind of eyes Finley and Valda real fast. But we'll definitely help you. Maybe you have a way that can message the Guardian and tell him about the artifact we found. Where is that artifact, actually?
Where's Ed?
Oh yeah, where is Ed?
Who's Ed?
He was traveling with us.
No, it was just you four that came through the portal.
I do remember that Stater and they went through the portal too. There must not have been enough portal for everybody, but Ed,
That means Ed must have also sacrificed himself.
he must have drowned.
And the artifact went with him.
Well, good riddance to that.
Blast. Okay.
Better that way. That thing should be at the bottom of the sea.
It should not. It was a priceless artifact that could tell us some history about our past and something of value, at least to the Magi Order.
Well, it was dangerous, and it was causing an awful lot of trouble for me.
Because you touched it.
Because it's forbidden.
Rules were meant to be broken.
Rules are meant to keep people safe.
Depends on who made the rules.
Well, the rules we follow are meant to
us
keep.
safe.
They're the
If
rules
you-
of your goddess.
Yes, of course. But did Yuna verbally say these rules? Show me where did she write these down? Must be etched in stone
She'll pull
somewhere.
out like a book of scripture, hand it to Quinn. You could use some time with that book, actually. Please, if you're going to study. Might as
She
well
like
study it.
closes it and flings it back. She's like, I've read it. And she walks away.
Well, thank you for working with us to get us off the ship.
Yep.
We will be retiring to the temple.
We wish you the best in your journey, but goodbye.
Okay. Be careful out there.
We'll be all right. We have protectors,
We have each other.
and we have our goddess.
Ceryn sits up on the counter of the store, and he looks at you and he says, "You know, my master, Tamel, used his last Magi magic to save your lives, and this is what you're gonna do?
What do you mean? I'm gonna continue the work I've been building my whole life.
And it could have been shut forth had a Magi not helped you.
I appreciate what Tamel did. Don't get me wrong. It's not that I don't like the Magi. I'm just following the rules that I have to follow. I'm a summoner. I have high standards that I'm held to, and I've already broken enough rules.
So why not
We-
break more?
Because
don't- Continue, Finley. I'm sorry.
Because I care about my pilgrimage, and I want it more than anything else in my entire life, and I want to do whatever I can to help Everas, and because it's my path. What do you mean why? I don't know you. I've spent my entire life working towards this. I'm not going to give it up. Thank you to you, thank you to Mel, thank you Quinn and Ruika, but we have to go.
Quinn's gonna walk over and snap at the book she had taken closed, and she's like, "Don't you think that we also are trying to save Everas from the darkness as well? The Magi are just as aligned to this as you are."
I'm sure that's true, but I'm still not going to give up my pilgrimage over it.
Why can't we work together?
Because if we work together, she loses everything that she has worked so hard for her entire life. And if she loses her pilgrimage, we will be split up. I will be sent to the front line of the Crusaders in their work, while she will be put in a random temple
Probably
serving. Yes.
Ceryn
scrubbing the floors.
is looking over the book of scriptures and stuff like that you had handed over, and he pulls up a page and he goes, "Oh, then make them your wards."
I'm not going to do that. Are you kidding me?
Says right here that it does not matter a ward's religion, and that they can even be taken as a Magi. The last summoner, High Summoner Mattias, had Summoner Holland, or had Magi Holland with him.
Don't even know these two.
They died 24 years ago to try to stop the darkness.
No, not them. I know who they are. I mean these two. Quinn and Ruika.
And
No, but-
Quinn and Ruika, that would be sacrificing their lives in order to basically protect the summoner.
Yeah, I mean, you guys don't want to do that. Are you really going to lay down your lives for me? You don't even like us.
Well, what I do know is that if it's just the two of you, that you're not going to make it very far. Not without the help of a Magi.
We'll find wards. Probably at the temple.
Did you find any wards on that ship that was sinking to the bottom of the ocean?
God, no. That was awful.
Yeah, it was full of Magi that your people were trying to kill.
I don't know what was going on there. It's not like they're randomly picking Magi to exterminate. Those
Why don't you ask
were
your church
prisoners. Because right now I'm trying to get back in their good graces after seriously messing my reputation up because of you.
Me? I did nothing. Did I tell you to touch that artifact? You grabbed it before me. I was very happy to take both artifacts off your hands.
I'm also pretty sure nobody told Balda to go up there and tattle on yourselves.
I was only trying to get some information. I did not know it would lead to that. We didn't even know it was a Magi artifact.
Either
Nor did
way,
I.
we should be honest. We should be honest with the church. It's right that they know. And they're right to punish us, but I don't want to make it any worse.
What if that artifact is the key to defeating the darkness and they're just so afraid of it to even find out?
Well,
What
then
if any of
it's...
the Magi artifacts could help defeat the darkness?
I don't think so. I think it has to be a summoner.
Well,
Well,
yes,
hasn't worked
the
in the
summoner
past.
could. But
All I'm saying, maybe stay the night, since Ceryn is right. Tamel did sacrifice his life for you. Then maybe seek answers in the morning if you so wish it.
So it's because Tamil sacrificed his life, I have to have a slumber party with you two.
You can probably stay in a different room unless if it's bothering you.
Why don't you guys come stay at the temple?
Because we're not welcome there.
Right.
That's not true. The temple welcomes all.
Well, you would have to believe in Yuna.
Yeah, all except for Tamel and the other people who were on that ship that were being executed at sea.
For a
I'd
reason.
really.
We
I
don't
mean,
know
who
why.
knows? I don't want to wake up on a ship to the pit again.
Then don't break the law.
Who's to say that any of them broke the law?
Well, why else would they be on that ship being executed?
Why would they be on a decommissioned ship sent out to the middle of the sea as execution? There are prisons for people who commit crimes.
So what? You think that the church just picked a handful of names and were like, "Oh, put them on the ship"?
Why does the church get to decide who lives and who dies?
There are laws that need to be upheld.
Laws that are being upheld by the church?
Yeah,
Why should the church have a say in what goes on in our everyday lives?
because Yuna is part of our everyday lives. She's the cause of our lives. She's the cause of this world.
Yeah, and from when I read when I was a kid, Yuna was a lot brighter than she is now. Ever since your new matron took over 50 years ago, things have been a lot worse.
Well, that's all church politics. That's not. I
Church
understand.
politics that deal with my life.
I understand why you think that, but Valda and I are on this path not because of the matron, but because of Yuna. We want to do Yuna's work. We want to spread her light and defeat the darkness, and I want to go on my pilgrimage. I've worked my entire life to be a summoner. It's all I want.
Fine, the door's there. But if you leave, you're not coming back.
Now who's unwelcoming?
Yeah, I tried to give you a chance. But I'm kind of grieving over the fact that someone who I idolized and was the closest person I had to a father died to help save you. And you're walking out on that. He goes over to the staircase, the spiral staircase that goes to the upper floor, and he looks over to Ruika and Quinn. You can come upstairs if you want, but if the two of you leave that door, don't come back.
Valda crosses her arms and she looks over at Finley. It would
Finley,
be helpful if you had 2 more wards, and we have not had any offers since you've been made a summoner.
well, it still doesn't feel like an offer. I don't think that they'll say yes, and if they did, do you really think they'd give their lives for me?
We can't hear you, and maybe not give our lives, but it would be helpful if we could prove to the church that the Magi aren't all bad.
You would have to pledge your life. Your life would be devoted to protecting me in my pilgrimage. You don't even respect it. How can I
You
trust
don't.
you?
You don't even respect me, so why should we respect you?
I respect you. I think you're fine. I just don't want to get in trouble for being around you.
Well, that sure doesn't sound like respect when you walk around behind us whispering things you think that we can't hear.
If you would
Okay,
have
so
us, we would be your wards, no problem. I'm sure Ethan wouldn't mind.
you would pledge your life to protect me in my pilgrimage.
I would pledge my life to protect you.
And my pilgrimage.
To defeat the darkness, no matter the cost.
And I can really trust you to do that.
I mean, have I been untrustworthy yet?
No, but I just feel like if things got complicated, I know that Valdo would do anything for me. And it's a weird position to be in as a summoner because I don't want to have to ask people to lay down their lives for me. That's not what I want. That's not the point of my journey. But the truth is, I'm not very strong and I'm just at the very beginning and I only have one Phaon. And if things get ugly in battle, Valdo would have to die for me. And so would you if you're going to be one of my wards. And that's a big thing to ask, and it's a big thing to put on someone that I don't know very well, and that I haven't particularly been getting along with.
I mean,
Well, I guess I would do it only because Quinn is. As long as you're okay with a blind girl being your protector. And she like puts her hand on like the stair railing and starts to walk up a couple steps.
That's what's
Blind.
going on with you.
yeah, she's blind.
She,
I apologize. We did not know.
I mean, it's not my fault that your observation skills aren't that great. And she like waves her hands in front of her, like in front of her face, like with her hood hanging down. She's like, I don't need them. That's why they're covered. And she like continues walking up the steps.
Well, hold on. If you two are really going to be my wards, hypothetically, I'll need to know more about you.
Well,
You still feel like strangers.
here to basically save Everas from the darkness with the use of Magi magic, of course. This is what I use. Ruika here can use the weave to see, which is pretty amazing if I do say so myself. Yuna's magic didn't do that for her. So, I'm a half-elf from Holyroot. There you know more about me, and I like to read. I also went to Wakefield.
Okay. Yeah, what about
I'm
you?
a blind noble from the deserts of Sienna. Had to look that one up, sorry. There's really not much more to know about me. Quinn already said I used the weave to see.
So why did you end up going along with Quinn? Are you part of the Magi Order?
No. She's my friend. She looks after me. She sees things that I can't see, and I see things that she can't see. We're perfect to go on adventures together.
Like partners. I guess, like, she can see the unseen and I can see the seen. That made no sense, but it makes sense to me.
And me.
Well, if you're willing to become one of her wards, I feel like only it'd be fair in return if Finley and I try to learn from our predispositioned thoughts of the Magi Order and weave
And
magic.
the weave.
And the weave magic because of what we've been taught our entire life. We will try not to be as judgmental if you were to be her wards, and I apologize for our comments in the past, but that is what I will say on my behalf. Finley, I believe you owed them an apology too.
I don't have anything against either of you. I don't have anything against the Magi or the weave, and I'm sorry if it came off that way. You have to understand it's only a matter of protecting my path. I pretty much already lost it because of what happened with the artifact. They took my pilgrimage from me, and I don't know that they'll give it back, but I have a trial to attend and temples to visit in the meantime to see if I can get back in their good graces. And really, I don't want to get into any more trouble. I've spent my entire life trying not to get in trouble with the church, and that's the only reason. It's not because I don't respect you guys or the weave. So I'm
Thank
sorry.
you.
Understandable. Well, we can help you go to these churches and see what happens at your trial. I don't know exactly what's going to happen at this trial. Is it like, who's there?
I'm not sure exactly what to expect. I've never needed to go to the Union Court before.
Right. Well, in the meantime, I guess I'll read about them and we'll gather as much information we need to help you in your trial.
You'll really do it then? You'll really pledge yourselves as my wards?
Well, I'm for Everas, and, you know, darkness isn't the greatest, as we all know. So, yes, protect Everas, of course.
A sudden chill sweeps throughout the store as the lanterns hanging and the candles start to flicker. It's almost as if the light dims, even with them still glowing, as the hush of air kind of swirls around the store and then settles just as quickly as it came. And then nothing.
That was
Believe there might
weird.
be a draft in here?
What if that's some sort of an omen?
I feel like we take that as a good omen from Yuna.
I
Okay.
agree with Valda. It must be a good omen.
Ceryn steps to kind of the center of the room and he looks at the four of you and then he looks back up to like the ceiling as if there was something in the rafters. Are you sure?
I don't feel very sure about it, I'll be honest.
Shh. Okay. If you trust them. And then he looks down at you, Finley, and you kind of see his pupils start to return. You notice that his eyes were once a faint white, and only you see this. And then he looks at you, like really looks at you. And then he looks at Valda, and he looks at Quinn, and he looks at Ruika, and he says, Tamel said that each of you were picked for a reason, or you wouldn't be here.
When did he say that?
Just now. Through the weave.
That's who you were talking to.
Yeah. And he wants me to share a story with you, a fable.
Wait, but Tamel is in the bottom of the ocean. How are you talking to him?
He's dead. His spirit lives on within the weave.
And you can talk to him through that.
I didn't know that until just about 5 seconds ago.
All right.
Oh, because I was going to ask you to teach me how to do that, because that's kind of cool.
Okay, thank you. Just wanted to keep up. All right, let's hear this fable.
Finley will take a seat, and Summerlin will listen.
Ruika will sit down on a step.
It's coming to me as if he's telling me what the story was. I've never heard this before either. He says that he's entrusting me with this. All fables have names. This one is called the Stonecutter. And as it turns out, this fable is old. Like thousands of years old. But Mel says he calls it the Stonecutters Key. That's the key part is not normally in the name of the story of the fable of the Stonecutter. But I believe that this might be the key to stopping the forces that are gathering. It was a hot, sweltering day, and the stonecutter balanced on his haunches, chisel and hammer in hand, and streams of sweat running down his back as he broke bits of rock away from the base of the wall of stone. It was a hard, blistering work, and it felt like the sun had no mercy on him. How wonderful it must be to have the power of the sun, he once thought. If I were the sun, no one could resist me. I wish I was the sun. And in an instant, he found himself looking down on the earth, beating on it with heat and energy. He was the sun, and he liked the way he touched everything and everyone below him without mercy. In his presence, people would be thirsty, they would be hot, and they would suddenly always know he was there. He then realized that there was something impeding him. He could not touch the earth with his power. He looked down and saw that a cloud had imposed itself between him and the earth. He thought. In spite of my great power, there is something that thwarts me. Surely this cloud is mightier than I. I wish I was a cloud. And in an instant, he found that he was a cloud, and he could block the sun all day long. What's more is he could rain on those below him, bringing cold, eroding buildings, drowning what he pleased. Surely there was nothing more powerful than what he was now. But he felt himself being swayed. And quite without his consent, he was being pushed and he could not resist the movement. He found that the wind was blowing him to the side, and he saw that because he could not defy it, it was mightier than him. How I wish I was the wind, he thought. And then he was. Where he blew, huge trees bent. He could push great walls of water wherever he pleased, and he could topple the tallest, most majestic buildings. Surely, he must be all-powerful by now. But he swept across the world. He came across something that stopped him. He looked down and realized that the mountain before him could not be penetrated. As hard as he might blow against it, he could not push it to the side. Look how it resists me, he thought. Surely this mountain is mightier than me. I wish I were the mountain. And then he was. He sat, imperial and bold, tall and proud, bolted to the earth, and he knew that there was nothing in all the world that could move him now. Nothing could destroy him or overcome him. He was the mightiest thing of all. But then he realized something. From somewhere far below, he felt he was being reduced. He was being destroyed, torn apart, quite against his wishes, but he could do nothing about it. What is there mightier than a mountain? He asked himself. Not the sun, the clouds, or the wind. What could it be? With a great effort, he looked down, and there, far below, at the very base, and Ceryn pauses, looking at you all. What could it be?
Stonecutters.
Stonecutter.
The things in the story you need to focus on are the sun, cloud, wind, and stone. At least that's what Tamel was pretty sure about. Note the order. All four of these are seen throughout Everas. Somehow they are meant to lead us to a solution, a way to defeat the darker powers that have begun to threaten the world. Comments?
I mean, I understand the idea of the fable. I'm not really sure what we're supposed to do with that information.
I don't know. Uncle Tamel, he was always going off on adventures and figuring things out by himself. I'm nowhere near as smart as he, but there must be something more to the story. The temples, the Union temples, they were once home to things called Godmothers. Have you heard of them?
Mhm.
Well, for those who haven't, they're protectors of the runes that lived inside of the temples. They are now the trials that summoners take. These temples are the same temples you go to on each of your pilgrimages. They're the same temples that might help us. They're connected to the elements.
So would the Phaon be connected?
It's possible. Somehow the Magi and the Church are connected.
I guess.
I mean, it does make some logical sense if the Union Church overwrote some of what the temples are or used to be to fit their own means. It could have been some sort of Magi or Everas thing beforehand, and they made it their own. And just renamed things, you get, I guess. But that means the Magi and the Union Church are connected, in a sense. I mean, it's a long shot, but it makes sense logically that could have happened. It's just like renaming something in a different language. Like, oh, that's called blah blah blah, and that's now called wood.
Right.
Ruika is going to say wood in Draconic. I don't know how that would be said, but
Make it up.
oh gosh. I can't be put on the spot like this. It's never gonna come to me.
Just growl.
Wah!
So she says wood and draconic.
Yeah, sure.
I
Like she's like
believe-
nodding as like Quinn is like saying that, and when she says wood, she'll like just naturally just say like wood and Draconic.
Do you know of temples that represent the sun, cloud, wind, and stone by chance? They might hold some more answers, or keys, I guess, like the story is.
I just know that the temples are in the major cities. Finley, do you have any more? Maybe they told you more since you're a summoner.
Would she have more information about where specifically the temples are and what the temples each are?
She would know where each of the temples are, but not necessarily what they're based around.
I mean, I know their locations. I know where we need to head, or at least to which cities and in what general direction, but I couldn't tell you the history of each temple. I mean, I know the history of the temple here because I grew up here, but as far as the other ones go, I only know that we have to visit them.
Is there a book that lists all the temples somewhere? We could get a kind of idea where we need to head, so we're not just fumbling around in the dark.
No, I know where we need to go.
Are there
I
only
just-
4 temples?
Are there
No.
only 4 temples that we would? Well, if we go to a church, they probably have some sort of record book. But I lost my pilgrimage. What?
Unless they're trying to hide that fact.
No, I don't think that they would. The only thing is that I lost my pilgrimage, which means that technically I'm in some sort of disciplinary state, which means I don't know that they'd necessarily give me access to those records.
Quinn is like stumbling back and forth, like, or pacing back and forth, and she's like, wait, aren't there like 4 continents? Maybe we have to figure out which continent represents each symbol. Like, which one would represent the cloud or the sun? Well, obviously the sun first, since we're the visitor first. I would guess Lunis would be sun because it's islandy and always sunny.
Maybe. I mean, in order to get through the trial at the court, I'm gonna have to go to the 3 temples on the way there anyways, so we could always ask and try to figure it out. You know, I mean, we will be in multiple temples.
Right.
Hey, maybe those 3 temples are 3 of the 4.
I don't think we'd get that lucky, but we could always try.
I mean, we have to go either way.
Also, you lost your summoner status, but I didn't lose mine.
You think they'd let you get into the records?
I could always ask.
I mean, I'm still an acolyte.
You're still an acolyte, but they knocked you down a peg. I'm
Yeah,
still a crusader.
I don't know how much anybody's going to listen to me right now, or at least as far as the higher ups go. I don't think the priestesses would really do me any favors, but they might listen to you.
I could
Right.
always ask.
They'll know
Where's-
you're with me, though.
Worst case scenario, it's always better to ask for forgiveness rather than permission.
That is not how the church works. Let's just get that out of the way right now.
Because we just tried to ask for forgiveness, and look where it ended us up at.
I would like to not have to ask for forgiveness ever again. So,
Okay, but if you had asked for permission, maybe they would have just completely told you aren't continuing anything ever again because you were curious about it, not because it was an accident. Like, yeah, I get that they might have had to still punish you because of an accident. But can you imagine if you went sniffing around asking questions deliberately about things that they might be trying to hide or don't want you to touch or know?
I mean, I see what you're saying, but on the other hand, probably they would have told me that it's forbidden, and then I wouldn't have touched it. And then I wouldn't have lost my pilgrimage, because I listen. Usually. I try.
Well, it sounds like the plan here is we stay here for the night. We rest up. After our unrestful 3 days, which doesn't make sense that we've been out of it, but let's get some rest. First thing in the morning, charter a ship, get back to the mainland, and we start our journey to those 3 other temples before we make it to the trial. We got a month.
Yep.
Less than a month.
Oh, and we'll see what information we can get about this element dilemma. And
Okay.
you'll be my wards?
Well, yeah. We'll be your wards.
There is a ceremony.
We'll have to make it official.
Do you have to be able to see?
No, but you do have to get naked and dance under the full moon.
Oh, okay.
I was kidding.
Oh,
That backfired pretty quickly.
Now I'm twice as concerned.
Yeah, but the
I am
ceremony
from
has to be
Colorado.
performed in a temple, so we have to get to one first.
And you'll have to be respectful and behave yourselves.
I'm always well behaved.
In church.
I'll always ask for forgiveness.
Oh boy.
Wow.
Yuna, protect us.
Well, I say we do our nightly prayers and head to bed.
Agreed. You know, it probably wouldn't be the worst idea for you guys to pray as well. Y'all need Yuna.
I'm not going to do that, but I am very curious in this weave ghost thing. She points to Ceryn.
What about it?
Like, can you see Tamel? She's like looking up.
No, I just hear his voice. He's gone now.
Very interesting. And she's jotting this down in her journal.
Did Ruika notice like anything at all, or was it like not even like a shift or like
Yeah, there wasn't. It
nothing?
Just, yeah. She could obviously feel the presence of this like gust of wind and this kind of
Right.
energy force, but yeah.
I'd really like to know how you did that.
I didn't do it at all. He just came to me and then I heard him. I honestly thought everyone else could hear him too.
Mm.
I wish.
All right. You're more than welcome to sleep in the sleeping bags, but there's an extra room upstairs if you need your privacy. and I'll have to start cleaning out the rest of Tamel's room.
If you would like us to help with that in the morning, we can. He did save us.
And we can pray for him. I'm sorry for your loss.
Okay. He was basically the only parental figure I had. Both my parents never knew them.
Quinn's
We
just
didn't
gonna-
know our.
What?
Quinn's gonna like pat his back and be like, "Don't worry, I lost my parents too."
Yeah, we never knew ours. Neither of us.
Well, while you guys are all telling your sob stories about your non-existent parents, I'm gonna call the privacy, and she like heads up to the extra bedroom.
Why do you need privacy? You can't even see.
Just because I can't see doesn't mean you can't. And then she like finishes going up the stairs.
The one
Just-
on the end of the hall, not the first door.
She kind of laughs to herself a little bit and like carefully makes her way to the room.
Okay.
You're welcome to come, Quinn, if you want. She like calls
Yes.
down the stairs.
I'll be there in a moment. And she's like, put like the two of them, be like, sleep tight.
You too. I
She
guess
goes
we'll
up.
snuggle into the sleeping bags.
Balda's going to take off her armor, and she's going to kneel beside her bed and do her nightly prayers, thank Yuna for keeping them alive, and, hope for good luck and prosperity in their future on their path. And she's going to basically just end that and get into her sleeping bag.
Yeah, Finley will say her prayers and get into her sleep clothes, some sort of underclothes, and settle in for the night.
Quinn, Ruika.
Quinn, oh my goodness. Ruika, oh, sorry. Ruika will, like, once she gets into the room, she'll take off, like, her heavier robe and, like, most of her, clothing, and then, like, get into, is it just, like, one bed, or is there, like, more sleeping bags?
It's just like a nice little cot. Not, I shouldn't say a cot, just like a nice little bed. Quilted, just like almost like a spare room, as if like the house knew it was going to have an extra guest. And there are two beds in here, single beds. And both quilts are like your favorite color. Like one for Quinn and one for Ruika.
She's going to unknowingly get into the one that has Quinn's favorite color on it and lay down.
Quinn is going to sit on her blue or dark blue bed and be like, well, that was a very interesting turn of events today. I'm upset we lost that artifact, but hopefully when we get in touch with the Guardian, he knows a little more about it. And at least I have this weird crystal that we found in a Union toy place. It's very weird that we found a Magi item there. But it's neither here or there. We'll do research in the morning.
It all just leads back to the idea that everything's connected. I mean, the weave connects everything. Why can't the Magi and unions be connected?
Exactly. They seem like almost the same magic.
I think so. It just feels like one might be trying to hide more than the other. Is there any chance I could hold that? And she like holds out her hand.
Yeah, of course. And she hands over the Lumina crystal.
She's just kind of like going to just roll it around in her hand. Does it feel any sort of way to her?
As soon as the clear white crystal touches Ruka's hands, it dissolves into her skin as bright white lights protrude out of her eyes as well as her mouth. And you see, you have a whole ass vision, but you don't remember it as the lights dim from your eyes and mouth, and then the crystal reappears in your hand.
What? Well, that was also very interesting.
Are you writing that down?
I definitely am.
I figured you would be. You know how... Shit. What's her name? Finley, thank you. All I could think was Bailey, and I was like, that's not right, that's not right, that's not right. Okay, I am so sorry. You know how Finley said she had a vision when she touched the artifact, but she couldn't remember it?
Yes.
I think that just happened to me too. Did I look the same? You said
yes.
She had lights in her eyes.
Yes. You looked exactly the same as Ed and Finley when they touched those objects. That's curious. Now I just want to see what happens when Valda touches these things, because neither here nor there happened when I touch these things, and that's weird. Okay. You must... Yeah, this whole connection thing. Like that.
Maybe there's just certain ones that we react to. Because did Valda touch the artifact?
Not that I recall. I also didn't touch the artifact. I've only touched his Lumina crystal. But Ed touched the Lumina crystal. And the artifact, I think. Maybe? I don't recall. Where is the artifact? Huh. Anyhow. Yes, that's something to write in the ledger that happened. I think experimentation is in order for Valda. Have her touch the crystal as well and see what happens.
I would say so, but at this rate, Finley's not going to let her touch it. I don't know. Do you want to hold on to this for safekeeping? And she holds it out and like drops it into her palm.
Right. I wonder if it's because I hold Lumina crystals all the time. Maybe that's why. But I know when we have our whole like ceremony, the crystal you choose for your focal point, like in my wand, it kind of called to me. It kind of was like this light beacon that I saw, and summoned me towards it. So I wonder if it's kind of the same thing, I guess. But maybe Aethrin will know more.
Probably.
Alright, get some sleep. I'll ponder on this more.
Well, don't ponder on it too much tonight. You need sleep too. You have to have your eyes open when I'm awake so that I can move around.
I know. Don't worry, I'll sleep.
Rest our eyes, thank you. And she'll like roll over and like start snoring.
So Ceryn, he walks into his room, and he lights a fire in the fireplace, and then changes into his bedclothes, and then sits down on his bed, in a puzzling thought. and then he hears light tapping on his window. He doesn't notice it at first, but then he goes over to the window, and when he opens it up, he looks down to see like if someone was throwing rocks at his window, or anything like that. And he looks up at the sky to see if anything like a bird or something like that was tapping on it. But nothing is there. And then he sees a hand reach on the windowsill. And then a figure crawls up on the side of the door or of the wall, and then climbs into the room. And he goes, Ceryn steps back. He goes, "Now, why on earth are you going to scare me like that?" And the person in a dark cloak pulls down his hood. And you see that's Riley, with his boyish smirk and happy-go-lucky face. He pulls out from his bag. He's like, "I bought you some goodies from the bakery." And Ceryn, he's like, "You are going to get me fat with all these sweets you keep bringing me." And Riley's like, "Well, you need a little bit. You're skin and bones." And Ceryn, he takes the pastry from Riley's hand, and he sits down over on the bed, still kind of lost in thought. And then Riley comes over and sits next to him on the bed, and Riley says, "What's wrong?" And uh, he looks at Riley and he goes, "Can I tell you something?" Riley's like, "Yeah, of course. You can tell me anything." And Ceryn says, "No, like a real secret." And Riley's like, "Yeah, what's up?" Ceryn, he pulls his he pulls his back to the wall, and then hugs his knees to his chest, and then rests his like chin down on his kneecaps as Riley like look at the foot of the bed concerned. Does that girl Finley look familiar to you at all? And Riley's like, "No." And Ceryn's like, "Okay." And Riley's like, "What's wrong?" And Ceryn's just like, I don't know. There's something weird about her." And Riley says, "Well, there's everyone from this island is weird, especially you." And Ceryn kind of laughs, and then he like looks at Riley, and I heard a voice today. And Riley's like, "Typically we hear a lot of voices. It's a pretty populous island." And Ceryn laughs. He pushes Riley's shoulder playfully, and he's like, "No, not like that. Like a voice in the wind." And then Riley is like, "Oh, spooky. Now you're hearing ghosts." And Ceryn's like, "Maybe it was a ghost. Maybe it wasn't. But they're here in the house, and I told them that they could stay." And Riley's like, "They're woken up now?" And Ceryn replies, "Yeah. They're doing better." And he looks at Riley with just like intent eyes, very, very intensive eyes. And he's like, "I told them that I heard the voice of Tamel." And Riley's like, "Yeah, and?" And Ceryn says, "It wasn't Tamel that I heard." And Riley's like, "Okay, what's up with the crypticness? Like, what's going on?" And Ceryn says, "It was High Summoner Mattias. He was telling me a story to tell them. And he said that I'm his kid. Okay, so you found out who your father is. That's great. Yeah, but that's not the biggest thing of it all. And Riley kind of like turns and faces Ceryn back with intent eyes. What are you going about? And Ceryn says, I think Finley is my sister. And that's where we're in tonight's episode. Hooray! Really loud. There you go. Thanks for watching.
My apologies for blanking on Finley's name. I don't know why it was not coming to me.
It happens.
Oh, we can't hear you, baby.
I think it's fine. I blinked on Valda's name pretty hard once, actually.
It's okay. I tried to call Quinn Thal a couple times, and then just kept trying to. Every single time I like looked at your picture, I was like, Bailey.
It's hard
Struggling
to get
hard.
out of it. I remember like switching from Tara to Bailey, kind of